Indeed, that was very interesting. Jed Lafferty. Let's put all that together as it relates to our topic tonight, Greg. Nitrogen and weather.
Yeah, nitrogen and weather kind of go hand in hand.
I guess.
As that weather is the ultimate variable in your nitrogen fertilizer decisions. And so one of the things that we try to look at is those long-term trends, but those long-term trends are really pretty good at predicting on a broad area, but not very good at predicting local weather. And so local weather is still highly variable, and it's often causes yield losses because of that.
Right. And Martin, you said before going on, this is something that producer groups, when you're in front of them, will talk about all the time here. And really, it gives you a chance to talk more about the benefits of AGROTAIN.
Well, as you saw there, they had two diametrically opposite weather years, and weather is the unpredictable factor in trying to manage a crop, manage your nitrogen. And so our technology has been very instrumental in helping these farmers manage the variations in weather itself. And so we've been seeing a lot of value in that discussion.
And one of the things someone said, I believe at that show, or at AGROTAIN, has said, don't plan this year based on weather last year, because it's not going to be the same, and you're going to get caught short somewhere. So we'll talk more about that a little bit. Again, these weather events that we just talked to and heard Jed talk about cause quite a few nitrogen weather type interactions. A very key part of the discussions we had with Dr. Fred Below, Dr. Fred from the University of Illinois. He was with us last January at the Ag Connect Expo in Atlanta. Take a look at what Fred had to say about his research project. It's the 7 wonders of the corn yield world: weather and nitrogen and the interactions.
Here at Ag Connect Expo, we're seeing and hearing about the very latest in technologies and equipment and the different innovations that are available in agriculture. So what we're talking about here from AGROTAIN fits right in, and especially as we come back to Dr. Below from the University of Illinois and the research that he has done and the project that he's involved with. I think you'll be very impressed at the extensive nature of this, how large a project this is. So Dr. Below, kind of give us an overview. It's a very sizable project you've undertaken here.
So Mike, this idea of the 7 wonders of the corn yield world, here we try to identify the top 7 factors that each year can have a positive impact on farmers' yield. And then we not only rank and prioritize those factors, but we give each factor an average bushel per acre value that's based on a career of research. And this allows farmers to understand those management practices that have the biggest impact on crop yield. And no doubt, in our quest for 300 bushels, we need to make sure that we get the practices that have the biggest impact on yield correct if we have any hope of growing those bin buster type of yields.
Well, how does AGROTAIN fit into a high-tech package?
So AGROTAIN plays a major role in controlling the first and second wonders of the corn yield world. Number 1 in influencing crop yield is the weather and all of the different ways that weather can occur. Number 2 is nitrogen. And if you think about weather and nitrogen, every single thing about the use of nitrogen is influenced by the weather. The application, the loss, and the use of the plant is influenced by the weather. Products like AGROTAIN Plus help mitigate the potential losses of N due to weather, and that allows the plant to realize the full value of that nitrogen fertilization.
Well, just think back to last spring. It was wet in a lot of parts of the country, and we saw the results of that in places.
When we have a wet spring, every molecule of N saved leads to a higher yield. And that's, since we can't predict the weather, we want to make certain that that nitrogen that we apply is available to the crop at the right time to make the highest yield.
At the right time is key.
Dr. Fred Below, and make sure you join us this Thursday evening. Our friends from AGROTAIN will be right back, and we'll take a longer look at Dr. Below's research project and the explanation of what he calls the 7 wonders of the corn yield world. And if you haven't seen that before, it's quite an explanation, quite a project. Martin, Dr. Below's right there in your backyard.
Yeah, he's from Champaign, only 45 miles away, but he's been all over the Midwest talking about the 7 wonders of the corn world and how weather and nitrogen are so interrelated as far as trying to achieve that 300 bushel yield quest that he's so actively trying to pursue, and it's such an elusive matter.
Getting closer, though.
He's getting closer.
And Greg, just quick reactions from you, from Dr. Below. You've been with him many, many times around the country, as Martin has.
Yeah, Fred has really carved out a niche for himself. He's been working his career trying to achieve that 300 bushel yield goal. And I think he's going to do it one day. He's actually already done it once, I think, early on in his career. But he'll tell you it was a fluke, and he wants to be more predictable. And so nitrogen becomes one of those things that you can do in a more predictable way, and it's really helped him achieve some really pretty high, amazing yields.
Absolutely. Dr. Fred Below, he'll be with us again via our tape on Thursday evening here. Again, that program, part 2 here. Part 1 right now with our friends from AGROTAIN. They'll be back. Martin, in fact, and Greg doing double duty this week. They'll be back with me Thursday evening at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 Central Time. We're going to take our first break and come back. We have more to share with you, talking about weather, cold weather, warm weather, and still all wrapped around nitrogen stabilization with our friends from AGROTAIN. Coming right back here, watching RFD-TV Live here on Rural America's most important network.